There are many types of generators, so I recommend that you consult your operator manual before you do maintenance, but I'm going to show you the basic maintenance that you perform on a generator. My generator happens to be a diesel generator, but it would be the same basic type for a gas model as well. Alright, let's get started. First thing you do is remove your cover, just like that. Remove the top insulation, set that aside. Now we want to drain the oil, and the oil is easy to drain. This is the oil reservoir. Just want to loosen that up like that. The oil starts to drain out. You can open this up here and it'll drain out a little faster. If you run this generator for about 30 minutes at about half load before you do this operation, it'll make the oil warm and it'll come out easier. While we're waiting for the oil to drain, check the belts, make sure there's no cracks and that they're tight. Also check your hose lines that lead from your fuel source into your generator and make sure that there's no leaking there. And just kind of give a general inspection. You also might want to check the vents on the radiator to make sure they're not clogged or plugged up with leaves. If you have a generator that's a air-cooled generator, make sure that there's no debris around the intake. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're just waiting for the oil to drain, and then we're going to take the oil filter off and replace it. You're going to need an oil wrench to do that. Looks like this, something like that. And it just snugs up and gives a little leverage to pull that off real easy. Goes on clockwise and comes off counterclockwise. So you put your strap wrench on there, and we're going to just give that a little bit of a tug that direction, and another one in this direction. Just kind of loosen it up a little bit so it's finger loose, just like that. All right, that should be enough to be able to take it off with our fingers. And we'll put our rag down here to catch any extra oil that might fall off of there. See, it's at an angle, so it's kind of hard to twist it off like that. Oh, okay, there we go. And then you turn it upside down on your oil pan and let it finish draining out like that. Wipe up any excess oil that you have on here. Okay, on the new oil filter, you just put a little bit of clean oil, fresh oil on your finger and coat the rim of the rubber seal like that. Now we're going to screw it on finger tight. Just get it under nice and tight with your finger tight. Alright, so now we're done with that part. Close the valve for the oil, and then we're going to add more oil into the reservoir. To add oil to the reservoir, you pull out the dipstick and the filler, put in a funnel, take your oil, and start filling. Alright, once you've filled up the oil, you want to turn the generator on and then let it run for a minute or two, and then recheck the oil to make sure that the level is at the appropriate full level. Alright, so we've run the generator, and now we'll check the oil again, make sure it's at the proper level. The next thing we're going to do is take the fuel filter off and replace it. So we'll loosen it up a little bit. There we go. Now sometimes you'll have an inline filter, and you'll need to replace that as well. Just depends on the model. There you go. Now you notice there's fuel is siphoning out of the line here. So you put your new filter on, and we'll tighten that up. Just like that. Alright, so in order to fill this filter back up with fuel, you have to prime it. So we just push down where it says preheat prime. Just push on that button. And it primes it. Now let's start it up and see if it works. The next thing I want to do is check and make sure that I have plenty of fluid in the radiator. And I can look at the external tank here and see that it is level with the full level, so that's good. The other thing you want to do now is check the air filter and make sure that it's clean. Now to get my air filter off, I need one of these small little screwdrivers like this. And there's a foam filter behind the paper filter, so I have to come in here and loosen this up. And once I have that loosened, I can just pull it off like that. Check and make sure everything's good. So there's my my paper filter. They recommend that you do this every 50 hours, or if you're in a dusty area, you may have to do it more frequently. What I'll do is I'll take the filter out, knock all the dust off of it if there's any on there, and blow it out with compressed air. And that way you can make sure that your filter's nice and clean. If it's real dirty, I recommend you replace it. And that's pretty much it. Generators are pretty simple to maintain. You just have to get after it. Once a year, you want to make sure that you check and change your oil. Most recommend that you change the oil every 100 hours or once a year. So I didn't use it 100 hours this year, so I'm doing my annual oil change. I'm Jim Twamley, Professor of RVing. Until next time, thanks for watching.